Very good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining us for the UBC Weekend Edition News Bulletin. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark, and I'm going to be taking you for the next 1 hour. Without further ado, let's give you some of the stories that made headlines within the week. To start off, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this week said that the National Resistance Movement caucus will make the final decision on whether Anita Annette Among will contest for the position of Speaker of Parliament and Thomas Ayewa for Deputy Speaker. The President's clarification follows a declaration by Aringa South Member of Parliament, Alioni York Odria, who expressed interest in contesting for the speakership during a meeting held in Chankwanzi on Wednesday. Museveni emphasized that the decision taken by the NRM Central Executive Committee regarding Among and Tayewa will be formally explained and discussed within the party caucus before a final position is adopted.
I also want to tell Ugandans and my colleagues here,
thank you. 2 minutes.
I am one of the 4 candidates contesting for speakership, flag bearership under the NRM. And we are calling for rule of law, equity in the activities of SEC. I beg to submit.
Thank you, my brother.
And at the right time,
Next.
I request for an appointment as usual.
2 minutes.
Odia also is standing for speaker. That one we shall discuss at the right time. Because SEC had recommended that we maintain the two. Because it had become like a tradition. But this was now, stop it, Nani. This was our recommendation. It is not us who decide. We recommend and then we can reason why. So, when the time comes, we shall be able to discuss it and explain why. But we are not the ones who elect. We recommend. And we support our recommendation with the reasons.
Still news from this week, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni called for a strategic approach to addressing challenges facing the Nile Basin while delivering a lecture of opportunity to a delegation from the Egyptian Armed Forces Staff and Command College at the National Leadership Institute in Chankwanzi. President Museveni noted that discussions on the Nile have long focused on colonial-era arguments instead of the real issues affecting the river. He pointed to underdevelopment, limited electrification, and low levels of industrialization in tropical countries as the main threats. He added that climate change and environmental degradation are worsening the situation. President Museveni called for a comprehensive master plan and centered on electrification and industrial growth to protect the Nile Basin. He also warned that continued reliance on biomass energy is putting pressure on the environment. The president said Africa's future depends on regional integration, economic transformation, and shared prosperity. The delegation was led by Egypt's ambassador to Uganda, Monsei Selim, and Major General Khaled El Naharwe. Speaking on behalf of the delegation, Major General Khaled commended Uganda for its hospitality and the insights shared during their visit. More news from this week. The Chief Justice Flavian Zeija this week urged the judiciary to embrace alternative dispute resolution mechanisms as a means of unlocking trillions of shillings tied up in commercial court disputes. Justice Zeija noted that ADR approaches, including mediation, negotiation, and arbitration, provide efficient ways to resolve complex cases without the high costs associated with prolonged litigation.
Alternative dispute resolution is not a lesser form of justice, but rather a sophisticated complement that prioritizes speed, technical expertise, and confidentiality, key elements in the commercial and financial sectors. This is according to the governor of the Bank of Uganda, Michael Atingi Ego.
ADR mechanisms, mediation, negotiation, and arbitration offer a way to resolve these complexities without adversarial depletion of funds. That's why ADR is not merely a justice sector matter. To us, it is a macroeconomic imperative that is required to achieve our Vision 2040 and the ambitious tenfold growth agenda.
With over 7 trillion shillings reportedly locked up in commercial disputes, according to the Uganda Bankers Association, stakeholders say adopting faster and more efficient dispute resolution mechanisms is long overdue.
Currently, it is reported that about 623 unresolved banking cases are locking up an estimated Uganda shillings 7 trillion, according to the Uganda Bankers Association, in disputed value. For the economy, this is dead capital.
This engagement will allow us to reflect on the issues that sit at the intersection of law, finance, and the broader economy. Commercial disputes, particularly those involving financial institutions, are becoming increasingly complex and multiple. When these disputes are not resolved, and they are not resolved promptly, they affect business continuity, livelihoods, and the broader financial.
While officiating at the opening of a 2-day judicial officers colloquium at Serena Chigo, the Chief Justice Flavian Zeja emphasized the importance of integrating ADR into the formal court process, not merely as an alternative, but as a core component of case disposal.
I restate here that judges do not resolve cases, they decide them. And many times when we decide cases, the decisions do not necessarily bring the disputes to an end. The witness, the litigant appears. When a dispute is commercial in nature, the stakes are even much higher, and appeals can be multiple, sometimes dragging on for years. Prolonged litigation of commercial cases has far-reaching consequences for the financial system and the broader commercial environment.
Justice Zeja expressed optimism that the colloquium will yield practical outcomes to support the financial sector and the broader economy. His sentiments were echoed by players in the banking sector.
And as a sector, we are agreed and aligned in this particular scale and shape. We believe done neatly, we should be able to forge forward, but also then in terms of the going forward, as a sector, we also further acknowledge that we need to see how we support mediation.
The Judicial Officers Colloquium 2026 is being held under the theme From Litigation to Resolution, Unlocking Commercial Disputes Through Alternative Dispute Resolution. Dennis Igoa for UBC.
More from this week, a French delegation conducted a pre-investment inspection of the Nalubale Kira hydropower rehabilitation project aimed at strengthening Uganda's electricity generation infrastructure. The venture capital investment project is estimated to cost 170 million euros, approximately 700 billion Uganda shillings, funded by the French Development Agency and the European Investment Bank.
The rehabilitation of the Nalubale Kira hydropower complex is expected to safeguard Uganda's electricity generation capacity while improving the resilience to climate-related challenges like rising water levels.
We are going to work on the turbines themselves and the generators. Whatever is wrong with them is going to be rectified. In Nalubale specifically, we have a lot of old systems in the machines, different parts that need to be machined, renewed. So to reset the machines to their basic, to their design level, that's what refurbishments do. So that's the target.
Preparations are underway as international partners assess investment commitments.
Right now, the feasibility studies are nearly completed. There is a consultant finalizing the environmental and social impact assessment.
In the powers of Nalubale, we know that we have cracks due to the cement reacting with aggregates, which we call the alkali silicate reaction. It's something that began when the plant was commissioned in the 50s and has progressed, but the rate of progression is very low. And so we are able to work on that. So we are going to reinforce the structure.
The project will modernize electromechanical systems, strengthen dam safety infrastructure, and expand water speeding capacity to manage extreme hydrological conditions.
It is that this is a multiple turbine. It was conceived in a multiple turbine. There are 10 units on Nalubale, 5 more on Chira, meaning while doing the work, the dam and the capacity of production should not be shut down.
A fund of 170 million euros will include 73 million euros alone from French Development Agency, a grant of 2 million euros from French Development Agency, 65 million euros alone from European Investment Bank, 30 million euros a grant from European Investment Bank.
Part is a grant for financing, to meeting some of the financing things, supervision, which we are talking about the owner's engineer. But the actual works, we are looking at 134 million euros on ground in this first phase.
We expect the EIB to approve the additional financing by the end of the year, for the Ministry of Finance to be able to commit after the Parliament approval for this double loan, and to sign the agreement by the end of the year.
The partnership reflects shared priorities in promoting sustainable growth, energy access, and climate action. Abudu Nasele Lobwama and Regana Humza for UBC.
And more UBC news from this week. The Bank of Uganda commended the purchasing and refining of locally sourced gold from various regions across the country. In an interview with UBC, the governor of the Bank of Uganda, Michael Atingi-Yego, revealed that 2 indigenous refineries, Eurogold Refineries, Uganda, and Feldstein Trading Limited, have been contracted to refine and purify Uganda's gold to international monetary standards.
Following the signing of the gold refining and purification agreements with Eurogold Refinery and Feldstein Trading Limited, the central bank says all systems are now in place to operationalize the initiative.
So they will be the ones that will be refining the gold that will be buying, because also we've signed contracts with gold suppliers. So the gold suppliers will be taking the gold to these refineries, where the Bank of Uganda will be meeting them to buy. And why are we going to refineries? We are going to refineries to facilitate the testing, the purity of the gold that we are buying, because we want to ensure that the gold we are buying is first of all mined here locally.
Technical teams from the Bank of Uganda have since inspected the licensed facilities to assess the operational capacity and compliance with the required standards. But why is the central bank engaging directly with the local refineries?
The miners are selling to Bank of Uganda will be tested in these refineries because they have the equipment for now. So they will test to ensure the purity level. And then after we've done that, we will then take this gold to the Bank of Uganda vaults for some time until we realize a certain quantum.
Eurogold Refinery Executive Director Bernard Fenny has welcomed the partnership with government, describing it as both timely and transformative for Uganda's mineral sector.
Of course, this one means a lot to us. One, it means, of course, the relationship itself being strengthened with Central Bank, with Uganda, actually, Ugandan government, which is a very good thing, particularly for an indigenous refinery, a Ugandan-owned refinery. It's actually a very good signal to out there that we're in the right course. As you know, this was an open bid for an indigenous company like Eurogold Refinery, Ugandan-owned company, to win this contract. It's a very good milestone for us.
He notes that the absence of internationally certified refineries in the country has long fueled unregulated trade and black market activities.
So what the illegal traders had to do was just to sell their products raw, and there was no another option. Looking at the condition by the government, where that no gold leaves the country without being refined. There were no refineries that were welcoming illegal traders, or let's say people, or anyone outside there. But all I can say is now there's an open, legit, and available refinery.
Under the domestic gold purchase program, the Bank of Uganda plans to acquire significant volumes of gold annually. Dennis Igor and Juman Samba for UBC.
HIV and AIDS remains a major public health concern, with renewed efforts underway to strengthen prevention and awareness across communities. Through a partnership between the Buganda Kingdom and Uganda Bati initiatives are being scaled up to improve access to health information and services, promote responsible practices and support vulnerable groups in the fight against the epidemic.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, balance? Eh? Ah, Mama, nkwere nkumitano. Ompa ile kumibiri. Abantu abakuluma tandisa obiyayo mwene. Obiyayo obuliga. Iwe. Ngobi yanko bantu sente dange nizade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the Government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Welcome back. You're still watching the weekend edition of the UBC Lunchtime News. This week, the Ministry of Finance released Q4 expenditure releases for the financial year 2025-26, and I had a chance to interact with the stakeholders. The Ministry of Finance officials told a press briefing today that the Q4 release supports the tenfold growth strategy while keeping fiscal discipline intact. Preliminary data shows the economy expanded by 8.5% in the second quarter of financial year 2025-26, lifting first half growth to 6.7%.
When you hear these geopolitical tensions, what have you, they are bringing opportunities to Uganda. If now you see investment, some investors who thought certain places were better than others, now they realize that actually Uganda is more stable.
Civil society representatives who joined the briefing welcomed the focus on productive sectors, noting that the timely funding for the parish development model and Emyoga programs is finally translating into household incomes and market participation in rural areas.
The second item, Chair, is it's about, for us, I think it's on budget efficiency, and I think this is an issue that has come up. We understand that the commercial courts and tax tribunals are sitting on cases worth more than 14 trillion Ugandan shillings. And their biggest problem has been that they are heavily understaffed. In fact, they say that only 38% of staff is available.
The briefing comes weeks after the country concluded general elections amid global uncertainty. Yet, the shilling has stayed strong.
You are right, probably if the war drags on for long, what is it? What is it that will happen in terms of the price of fuel? But I think it will not increase as fast as it's increasing in other countries because of the four things that we did. One, is the sole importer of the fuel, and we signed a very good contract with Vitol. And Vitol supplier is keeping the rates quite stable.
The Q4 allocations target the 4 ATM's pillars. Wadulo, Arnold Mark for UBC News at the Finance Ministry in Kampala. HIV/AIDS remains a major public health concern, with renewed efforts underway to strengthen the prevention and awareness across communities. Through our partnership between the Buganda Kingdom and Uganda Bati, initiatives are being scaled up to improve access to health information and services, promote responsible practices, and support vulnerable groups in the fight against the epidemic.
Remain a prevailing public health concern in Uganda, with experts warning of persistently high rates of infections, especially among younger women, driven by ongoing social and economic vulnerabilities. In response to these challenges, Uganda Bati has intensified its call for greater HIV awareness and inclusive health support, urging equal attention to both and girls as the country works towards ending HIV/AIDS by 2030.
Men and women, children, the youth, and everybody. These days, you find that they don't even fear, to contract HIV. They assume that there is a way out, in a way. And actually, you find that women fear pregnancy more than HIV, which is a very, very dangerous situation.
Head of External and Corporate Affairs, Jackie Katahanzibwa, emphasized that while protecting the girl child remains critical, the boy child must not be overlooked. She noted that both groups need guidance, awareness, and access to health services to make informed decisions.
This run is especially important that the girl child is being protected, but again, even the boy child needs to be looked at. So the message for us is, let us create awareness about HIV. Let us ensure that the spread is limited or is stopped.
The company is extending essential health care services to its employees and surrounding communities, improving access to HIV testing, treatment, and health education.
We have communities coming from Namuongo and the surrounding areas who get, involved or get support from our clinics. So we are very, very deliberate about bringing health services closer to the people.
These efforts are aligned with national HIV/AIDS campaigns and are further reinforced through Uganda Bati's support of the Kabaka's Birthday Run, a key platform for community mobilization and awareness.
So the intention of this is still to contribute on health initiatives of Ugandans, but purposively to see how we can address HIV, which has become a very big problem in the country and the world at large.
This year's theme highlights the role of men in protecting the girl child, calling for collective responsibility in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Uganda, but we come through to encourage men to take the forefront of ensuring that women are protected. If a man advises a woman to test, then definitely it will be very easy.
Health experts continue to stress that without inclusive and sustained interventions targeting both young men and women, Uganda risks growing progress towards its goal of ending HIV/AIDS by 2030.
Relatedly, the Lubiri in Mengo came alive as thousands of runners from across the country turned up to take part in the 13th edition of the annual Kabaka Birthday Run. I&M Bank Uganda, the official bank partners of the annual show, showed up in big numbers as a demonstration of its commitment to supporting the cause. The event kicked off in a lively atmosphere with a chilly morning that provided ideal conditions for runners. It attracted a diverse mix of participants, including politicians, business leaders, corporate culture enthusiasts, and members of the wider community. The run was flagged off by Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, who was flanked by members of the royal family, the Katikiro Charles Peter Maiga, and other kingdom officials. This year's edition was particularly special, and besides that, happened on the actual eve of the Kabaka's 71st birthday. It was held under the theme of Men for Good Health and Save the Girl Child and the Fight to End HIV/AIDS by 2030. Just like the previous 6 editions, this year's run re-emphasized the critical role men play in supporting health initiatives, particularly in the fight against HIV/AIDS and safeguarding the well-being of the girl child. In his message delivered by the Katikiro, the Kabaka stated that the spread of HIV/AIDS can be significantly reduced if individuals remain vigilant, responsible, and intentional in adopting preventive measures. The official bank partner of the run, I&M Bank, through its head of marketing and corporate communications, Annette Nachiaga, reaffirmed commitment to supporting impactful community initiatives, especially those geared towards building healthier and more resilient communities. Unlike many competitive races, the Kabaka Birthday Run places less emphasis on elite performance and instead focuses on community engagement and charity. It brings together people from all walks of life to support meaningful causes and drive social impact. The event extended beyond Mengo, with runners donning official race kits, seen engaging in different activities in neighborhoods outside the main venue. The run was also held simultaneously at various country headquarters across the country, as well as among Ugandan communities in the diaspora, reflecting its widespread appeal and influence. The event was capped off with entertainment from local acts, creating a celebratory atmosphere. You're still watching the UBC Weekend Edition. Relatedly, as Buganda and the rest of Ugandans mark the 13th edition of the Kabaka's annual birthday run, some senior residents of Ntinda Parish in Nakawa Division also marked the marathon run, which was flagged off from Ntinda KCCA Primary School through several streets of Ntinda. Some of the runners included a 102-year-old Sarah Mukasa, an 89-year-old retired nurse Aida Batwala, and we have some of the highlights.
You have participated in this Kabaka's run, celebrate his 71st birthday, and I want to thank him for mobilizing us, for encouraging us to join in the fight against AIDS so that it is ended by the year 2030. Men and fathers and husbands, protect the girl child. Go for testing and keep safe.
I want to thank the organizers for this function to celebrate the birthday of our Kabaka. The Kabaka has helped to raise funds to fight AIDS and is helping the president and the government reduce to fight that HIV.
One of the first branches from Uganda to go and study. I went on the Kabaka scholarship in 57 and studied nursing and midwifery. I came back and worked in Bravo Hospital as a matron for 21 years.
Nasuze sebase olw'emisinde gya Ssaabasajja Kabaka. Nze ate nsanyusa ekiyitiridde kubanga ng'amba nti Katonda amwongere.
I spent a sleepless night because of this marathon and let God give him more long life.
Buli kintu kyonna.
And in more news, a brewing standoff in Rukunjiri district has left farmers in the dark. Residents of Nyabugando village are demanding answers after the Ministry of Water and Environment abruptly carted away irrigation equipment intended to fight drought. With a 7-day ultimatum now in place, the community is calling for the fulfillment of a presidential pledge. Let's take a look.
Tension is rising in Gambal sub-county after officials from the Ministry of Water and Environment, backed by police, seized a water tank and vital irrigation tools from Nyabugando village. The equipments donated in 2017 to mitigate water shortages on the land provided by Bangwili family was reportedly removed without prior notice.
Yatugambira ngo ibintu ibyo yaza kubikuma bizadisi ananka polisi rukunji kunkata disukiti arukunjira wa DPC tibikiri komeye nimwereka abantu mukume ekitwakwasi ni irrigation age konka ryirizo mwagitwara hata abantu nimubakunda muta murabaka bimwabahiye.
While ministry official Ms. Kemisha claims the equipment was withdrawn due to community misuse, local leaders are distancing themselves from the move. Lukunjil LDC Chikansheme Zabloni clarified that his office played no part in the reallocation, noting that authority over such assets lies solely with the ministry. Lugambwa has now issued a 7-day ultimatum for the ministry to return equipments to the village. She further warned that any officials found using relocation as a cover for corruption would face immediate arrest.
Nembasaba abawota nti mu 7 days nsaba pledge ya president ebenge ekomyewo mu kifeete kyennyini kubanga tetuyina okulaba nti tuweebuula mukulu w'eggwanga okwo kuba kuweebuula president Museveni era nvumirira mu abakola ebintu ebyo wonna wooli weegendereze nga wendi tujja basiba oba olyani ojja kusibibwa.
Quality healthcare came closer to home for hundreds in Maganjo today. The Rotary Club of Kampala, Kawempe, has held a massive medical outreach providing life-saving screenings and treatment to the community. Here is how the day unfolded at St. Apollo Chivabulia Church.
Grounds of St. Apollo Chivebulaya Church were transformed into makeshift hospital today as Rotary Club of Kampala Kawempe hosted a comprehensive free medical camp. Residents of Maganjo and surrounding areas turned up in large numbers to access specialized services including eye care, dental surgery, malaria treatment and screenings for diabetes and cancer. Harriet Sozi, president of Rotary Club, noted that the initiative aims to bridge the healthcare gap for those who can't afford private checkups. She urged beneficiaries to adhere strictly to the medical advice provided.
Here in Maganjo, the Family Health Day, we've come to treat people for free, mostly the dental services, the child services, the cancer, free eyeglasses.
I'm happy to be here at Maganjo St. Apollo Chivebulaya Church of Uganda medical camp. As Rotarians, we usually hold these medical camps to supplement what the government is doing. You know, we support each other, work with the government. So we are here to provide health education, to educate our people on how to keep healthy, on how to prevent disease, health promotion.
We as Rotary, we've got some areas of focus whereby disease prevention and treatment is one of them. out of the 7, basic education and literacy, but to mention but a few. Under disease prevention and treatment, we thought it wise to come and treat the community, offer medical services and healthcare.
Club members Rose Bongole and Semakula Tony emphasized the importance of prevention, calling on the public to maintain strict hygiene and seek regular checkups to catch illness early.
And we are really enjoying and receiving the service. We cannot doubt at all. Rotary has done that so good, so well, and we really pray to God to bless you abundantly.
Beneficiaries, many of whom had struggled with untreated conditions, expressed deep gratitude, urging the Rotarians to make the medical camp a regular fixture in their community. Viola Nabasa compiled the story.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Welcome back. You're still watching the weekend edition of the UBC Lunchtime News. Now, to kick off this segment, in Uganda's push to implement a skills-based curriculum, access to proper learning facilities remains a major challenge, especially in rural areas. But in Nakaseke district, one primary school that once held classes under trees is now undergoing remarkable transformation, thanks to a partnership aimed at bringing technology, dignity, and hope back into the classrooms. Let's have a look.
Just months ago, this was a reality at St. Kizito Primary School in Bujubya, Nakaseke district. Learners studying under trees, sharing inadequate sanitation facilities, and with little access to learning materials. The Rotary Club of Kongerukuli, together with Rotary Club of Forest, has stepped in to support the school with desks, computers, to enhance digital learning, a classroom block, water tanks, piped water, and sanitary wares. A timely intervention aligned with Uganda's new curriculum, which emphasized practical skills and integration of technology in learning. Speaking during the handover, past District Governor Pista Rema called on well-wishers to extend support to vulnerable communities without discrimination.
Rotarians, we do not support our own communities. We go other so we want to thank the Rotarians for that heart of supporting. We are sure that the impact at this school and the nearby community will be strong.
The president of Rotary Club Kongerukuli, Alexa Gaba, says the initiative is about restoring dignity and creating equal learning opportunities for every child.
Global grant that we received 2 years ago, so we have been in phases implementing it. So there was the climax of trying to hand over all that we have done. The building that you have seen there that is still incomplete has been done by the efforts of Rotarians. We hope that the work we have started here will be continued if we jointly bring our hands together, and more work that has been and witnessed today will be continued by them. But definitely we are going to give them support, but we pledge in the impact here that this new club is going to start.
For the learners and teachers, the change is already being felt, describing the support as a turning point in improving both performance and morale.
So it's serving beyond itself. But many have the money, but they can't serve others. They can't share what they have with. Encourage everyone, other people of goodwill, to emulate this example that has been set by these people of Kongelukuli, to support many more needed schools. In my parish, there are many schools that have the same need.
Learning, teaching and learning process is hands-on. So we've been provided by with these computers just to help us improve on our academic performance.
The event also featured a community medical camp in partnership with Chiwonko Hospital, offering free services including disease testing, eye screening and treatment. As stakeholders continue to bridge education gaps in underserved areas, such initiatives are improving critical in making Uganda's new curriculum a reality. Susan Nabugude for UBC.
Lira Regional Referral Hospital has unveiled strategic interventions aimed at improving service delivery across the Lango sub-region. Ediolwa has more.
Lira Regional Referral Hospital is taking bold steps to transform healthcare delivery anchored on innovation, accountability and strategic planning.
The hospital is now quite different.
At the center of this reform is the Hospital Parliament, an internal oversight body composed of heads of departments and elected staff representatives.
There will be a connection.
The Parliament plays a critical role in holding management accountable and shaping policy direction.
To find out where the problem is, what is causing the problem, solutions, and also making you know that something somewhere is happening.
They also help the top management in planning and then tracking to see the progress.
It is this very body that resolved the hospital director delivers an annual state of hospital address, an idea that has now come to life for the first time.
As a hospital, we undertook some innovation.
A major highlight of the address was the announcement that the hospital has secured an additional 4.8 billion shillings to recruit over 150 health workers in the next financial year. This is expected to significantly boost staffing levels and improve patient care.
We do not have enough money to build big structures, but whatever these small structures can do, we will repurpose them to use in the meantime as we hope for better opportunities ahead.
The director also revealed plans to expand infrastructure, including construction of a new ward complex, staff housing and completion of hospital fencing, alongside reclaiming encroached land. On healthcare services, the hospital is strengthening specialized care in areas such as cardiology, fertility treatment, neonatology, neurotrauma and endoscopy. Despite these strides, Dr. Andrew Dura expressed concerns over the rising disease burden, particularly malaria, abortion and sickle cell disease. He warned that unsafe abortion practices are leading to severe complications, including loss of the uterus among women, and called for urgent collective action.
Should be able to answer these. Too many abortions. Are these illegal abortions? Are they spontaneous?
To address malaria, the hospital is improving efficiency in its pharmacy system, ensuring timely access to treatment.
We have adequate stock of artesunate that can last us 6 months. We have reached there because we are no longer losing medicine.
In addition, investments in infrastructure and equipment are beginning to pay off.
About 15 babies who will be benefiting from open heart surgeries.
The hospital has also embraced environmental sustainability, implementing a Kavera-free policy and tree planting initiatives to create a healthy environment. Ediolwa, UBC News.
Furthermore, Uganda's livestock sector is gaining momentum with the introduction of Chinese hybrid big ear goats, a development expected to boost meat production, farmer incomes and food security. Let's have a look at the details.
Researchers at Mbarara Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute are testing Jiangsu big ear goats, a hybrid of Chinese Jan breed and the Anglo-Nubian, to address the low productivity of indigenous goats. So far, 9 goats have been imported, with 6 currently under study at the National Agricultural Research Organization facility in Mbarara. Early results are promising. Since their arrival in October 2025, the goats have produced 7 kids and are demonstrating strong adaptability to local conditions.
So we are happy that these goats are adapting quite well and stabilizing quite well, but we are continuing to collect data so that by the time we have stabilized this animal and ready to disseminate this breed into the communities, we shall have concrete information. In the future, we plan on top of stabilizing and making sure that this breed multiplies, because it's the first time it is on the continent.
Researchers report steady weight gain and resilience to common diseases, even under traditional feeding systems.
We need to know how the new technology introduced to Uganda, to China, the big ear goats, how can they be sustained? What are the challenges we face, and how can those three parties together can scale up the good results achieved? It's very important that these activities that are being implemented in the project are not just standalone, but are embedded in the national program and project and initiatives.
Improve goat production through crossbreeding. Local breeds such as the Mubende goat are smaller and slower growing, while the hybrids mature faster and produce higher meat yields, potentially doubling current production levels.
Because of the size and early maturing age, they are very good animals to better the multiplication and the volume, in terms of volume, the production in terms of volume in the shortest time possible. And this is very good for our local farmers whose interest is to get more production in terms of volume and facilitate the local market for the meat consumption and the export market.
Farmers are also being trained in modern feeding practices, including hay and silage making, to ensure consistent nutrition during dry seasons. As the project nears completion, focus is shifting to sustainability and scaling up. With continued support, these hybrid goats could transform Uganda's livestock sector into a more commercial and productive industry.
An international network of lawyers is expanding its footprint into East Africa, with Kenya positioned at the center of its regional strategy. Let's have a look.
Interlaw, a UK-based international caucus of lawyers, has launched its services in East Africa with the signing of a long-term partnership agreement with BM Musau and Company Advocates in Kenya.
By supporting local firms with global resources and collaboration, legal services can become more accessible and cost-effective. These benefits can then in turn be passed on to our partner firms' clients. Interlaw encourages inclusivity and greater access to legal services in several ways. One example is our affinity groups, including next-generation lawyers, with focuses on developing the skills needed to lead the law firms of tomorrow.
The deal is expected to unlock major opportunities for private legal practitioners in Kenya, including capacity building, specialized training programs in the United Kingdom, and improved access to cross-border legal services and funding.
We expect that the collaboration between Kenya and the Interlaw network of firms, which spreads across the top economies in the world, will assist not only in capacity building within our firm, but also in the economic growth of Kenya as a country. It will bring this country into a much more international economic investment feasibility.
Speaking after the signing ceremony in Nairobi, Interlaw Chairman Michael Panson revealed that the organization is also in advanced stages of exploring investment opportunities in Kenya.
Areas of collaboration are corporate and M&A, infrastructure, energy, agribusiness, IT, financial services, and probably dispute resolution. The long-term vision is to build sustainable partnerships that allow partner firms to participate in more complex regional and international mandates.
He described Kenya as a strategic gateway to the East African region, highlighting its growing legal and business landscape.
Law continues to. So in a nutshell, the visit is about turning Interlaw's existing strong relationships in Kenya into real structured collaboration, positioning the country as a gateway for legal and commercial activity across East Africa.
Interlaw boasts a global network of more than 8,000 practicing lawyers. The organization focuses on enhancing access to justice worldwide, with a stronger emphasis on supporting local law firms through funding and skills development initiatives. I'm Moevan Juko, reporting for UBC in Kenya.
Officials from the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs, IGAD, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Operation Wealth Creation, civil society organizations, and district technical teams are meeting in Moroto District for our consultative session to develop an implementation plan for the quick wins under the 10-year Karamoja Regional Strategic Plan.
The Office of the Prime Minister, in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Operation Wealth Creation, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, has held a 3-day consultative meeting to develop an implementation plan for selected quick wins under the 10-year Karamoja Development Plan, particularly in the areas of livelihoods, livestock, development, and peace.
It's been narrowed down to focus on 2 aspects, 2 thematic areas, but which are interrelated: peace and security and livestock development.
The Programs Officer at the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs, Peter Amodoi, explains how the implementation modalities will be coordinated.
We are developing these projects with the sectors. So when we achieve, we get the funding on water, we link with the water sector as a technical entity. On livelihoods, we deal closely with MAIF, Minister of Agriculture, as a technical entity. There are roles which the local government will play. An OPM will take a central role in coordination. And IGAD comes here, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, technically because they are cross-border. There's a cross-border dimension on these issues.
The head of IGAD mission in Uganda, Jocelyn Bijirwa, says they are designing a project aligned with IGAD's 5-year strategic plan 2026-2030.
95 or 90% of this work is going to be specifically for the Karamoja region. And then the other percentage will be to address the regional aspects of cross-border trade, in terms of developing the livestock sector, but also cross-border peace and security work. But largely, much of the work that we are going to do is going to benefit the local population, and this is in line with the vision of the IGAD Executive Secretary of taking IGAD to the people.
While representing the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Waiso Bajire, at the function, the head of the Regional Peace and Security Department at the Ministry, Dr. Edith Namtebinsoboga, says the initiative is focusing on strengthening the pastoralism value chain.
Water dams, we've heard of dams being built, but somehow maybe silt blocked them. So we need to have this concerted effort to ascertain that the dams are reopened, water, the grass is watered, irrigation is done, so that the pastoralist is saved from the trouble of moving around with herds of cattle looking for pasture.
The meeting held in Moroto District was attended by officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Karamoja Affairs, Operation Wealth Creation, and districts of Napak, Moroto, Amdat, Kotido, and Nabilatuk.
And still in business, NCBA Bank launched an annual corporate social responsibility initiative aimed at improving menstrual hygiene management among school-going girls in Uganda. The bank partnered with AFSI Foundation to distribute reusable sanitary pads, a move intended to address absenteeism and promote dignity and confidence among adolescent girls, particularly in underserved communities.
Taken care of. So yeah, over to you, Debbie.
And this project is mainly about supporting girl child at school. We are providing with usable sanitary towels to make sure that they are dignified and they are staying at school, and so that to learn and nothing, no disruption is done for them. So we have an arm that works with sustainability, strategy and sustainability, and this really focuses on corporate social responsibility to make sure that every community, every business that we do is sustainable. It is for the future. It's a business that grows, protects the environment, but also develops the environment. And for us, we are very, very intentional as NCBA to make sure that this is beyond the financial literacy that we do, the financial support that we do, but we also want to work with sustainable communities to grow together and to develop the economy.
For us, this is a very important occasion for us because we focus on increasing access of girl children to education. And as we know, when you support a girl child, you support the whole family. We have a number of projects that support girl children as an organization. We also know that when you increase access of girl children by 10%, you are able to increase the GDP by 3%. So this support is not only a romantic support, but is also an economic strength.
And in sports, the first edition of the J&J football tournament has kicked off at the Kapokin Playgrounds in Atutur, Kumi district, bringing together young athletes and for the week-long competition aimed at nurturing future stars. Let's take a look.
A total of 15 teams registered for the first edition of the J&J football tournament, turning the event into a vibrant showcase of grassroots football in the Teso sub-region. Sports commentator and UBC Magic Radio manager Peter Otai used the platform to inspire young players to take sports seriously as a pathway to success.
For a very long time, Teso has actually been producing few footballers. Case in point, Emmanuel Okwi. Right now, there is a footballer who comes from here who plays for Vipers. And that is none other than Isaac Ogwang. He actually comes from Atutur. If you have actually followed my commentaries, I love to say the boy from Atutur. That is Isaac Ogwang. So he's a product from here. It's actually an honor to be here. I believe many have actually followed the commentary. Many have watched the game on TV. And many would actually love to be like us. So when they see some of us on ground, they be inspired.
The competition is being held in memory of the late Owonyo Isaiah Gray, a son of the soil in Kumi district, who was passionate about sports development.
But to bring the community together, to give so many opportunity and chances, I am truly humbled. I'm still overwhelmed because, as you can see, a lot of these young men in Atutur have a lot of talent that's been hidden. So for God to use me as a vessel to just bring so much talent out, it means a lot to me.
On the pitch, Atutur youngsters booked their place in the finals after edging Osopai FC by 1-0. In the other semi-final, Cubs FC secured a comfortable 2-0 victory over Chamdem FC to set up a final this Friday. Winners of the tournament will walk away with trophies and gold medals, as organizers continue to emphasize the importance of investing in grassroots football. The J&J football tournament not only honors a fallen sports enthusiast, but also offers a platform for young talent in Kumi district to shine and dream bigger.
I think next year is going to be hot because this is the beginning. So I call upon all the government's people, please let's put hands together to help the younger ones. Because you see this generation needs your hands.
Ngabo Amon reporting for UBC TV in Atutur sub-county, Kumi district.
And Gabo Amon from Kumi district brings us to the close of our weekend edition of the Lunchtime News. Thank you very much for your lovely audience. Do join us later on in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Wadulo Arnold Mark, and I'm styled by La Vie Boutique, located on Grand Imperial Hotel, Shop 6 and 8, right behind Bank of Uganda.